What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Arie here, and today we're gonna be diving deep into something that's really gonna help you make the most out of your Facebook ads and your budget. So guys, let's address the elephant in the room real quick. Facebook ads have been a little bit weird this new year. If you've been spending money on ads, you've probably been seeing a little bit of inconsistencies. Some people even in my groups have stated how, they've been seeing really weird results with Facebook ads, and even some of my good friends have been seeing some really weird results with Facebook ads, including myself. So I've been very profitable still. I showed you guys in a few videos ago how we did almost 11K in net profit with the brand, and this month we're shooting for around the same numbers, a little bit higher, and we're working steadily towards that. So what I've done is I've studied how other brands are able to compete, right? How are they able to continue to spend money on Facebook ads even when the results are not exactly the best? And what I've learned is something that is very applicable to dropshipping, and what this is testing creatives. Now, most of us are used to hearing, all right, you gotta test as many products as you can. It's all about the product. It's all about the product. If the product is not good, you're not gonna make sales. And I do agree with that. But going into 2019, what I'm realizing is that it's more important to find the perfect set of ads shown to the right people at the right time, paired with an amazing high converting website and offer. So let's stop talking about it. I'm gonna dive into my computer and show you exactly what I'm talking about so that you can get a really clear idea of how you can do this and why it works so well. But guys, as always, if you get some value out of this video, if you haven't joined the fam for some reason, make sure you join right now. Subscribe to the channel. We're at 38,000 subscribers. Can't believe it. We're so close to 40K. And of course, make sure you turn on notifications. Otherwise, you might not be notified when I drop this kind of value. So make sure you do that. And let's hop right into it. Let's go. Alright guys, we're in my computer now. I'm sitting down. I'm ready to get started. Hopefully you are too. Make sure you're paying attention as always. But guys, as you can see, the first starting point to what we're going to talk about is myip.ms. If you don't know what this is, where have you been the past few months? I'm just kidding. But I do talk about this site a lot. This is basically a directory of all Shopify stores that are hosted on Shopify. And as you can see, there's a ton. There are some big name brands like ColourPop, Fashion Nova, Gymshark, Jeffree Star Cosmetics, a lot of crazy sites, and these are all ranked by how much traffic they're getting. Now, of course, that doesn't mean these are all high converting stores, but if you're getting, 20,000 visitors a day, you're gonna be making some money. So this is a site where I actually spend a decent amount of time, going through these different websites, studying them, looking at what they're doing, why it works, and these are things that I recommend you do as well, guys. Just a little side note, I always say that oftentimes we look to other people for advice, but a lot of the times you can take action on your own and learn so much just from you doing your own research. Now, I have a couple brands here that I pulled up that are a perfect example of this. So what we're gonna be looking at is how these brands are testing different creatives instead of just going all in on one video, right? Which is what most of us do. This is kind of what we've been taught to do. And then of course, I'll tell you how I would do it myself with my dropshipping store. But the first store here that I want to look at is Vincero Watches. Now, Vincero Watches, if you don't know who they are, they're basically just a watch brand, like a fashion watch brand. They're kind of like movement watches in the sense that they do get a decent amount of hate from like watch connoisseurs that are, just because these are they're not extremely high quality watches, but they're still priced at, above average watch prices. But they do a great job at marketing, and this is what's allowed them to really succeed. And as you can see some of their marketing tactics are testing a ton of different creatives. If we scroll down, we're actually on their Facebook page, and we're in their info and ads section, which is where you can see what ads other people are running. And if we scroll down, we see, oh my god, so much stuff here. Like a watch that kills it from brunch to the boardroom. That's a really cool, catchy quote. This is clearly targeted at girls because, it's all women's wrist. And then, over here we got featured in GQ. So this is a little bit of social proof, a little bit of trust. This is another type of, creative that they're testing. This is a more simple one. And then, we got another carousel ad. This one's probably more targeted at men. It's a little more rugged, a little more classic. You can kind of see what they're doing here, right? They're appealing to such a broad market when it comes to watches. They're so smart. I mean, this is what's allowed them to succeed. And then, now you got a mix of things. This is kind of like a little bit of both. Actually, it's primarily women. it seems like there's some men in there, I don't know. But you get the point, right? They're just showing off a bunch of their watches to different demographics. You know, for example, this one in particular, they're saying no wonder there are over 12,000 product reviews. Stuff like this, and then they got like a brand video here. You get the point. If we scroll down, they're literally testing a ridiculous amount of creatives. Like, they're running ads on everything. They're literally running like 10 or 15 different creatives, probably more, as you can see, which is pretty insane, guys. Like, can you imagine doing something like this? You know, I'm sure a lot of this is retargeting, so they've probably built huge custom audiences that they just, you know, hammer with ads, and as you can see, it's very effective. They're a multi-million-dollar brand. So you can get a lot out of studying the info and ads section of pages like this. Even if you're not selling watches, as you can see, some of the wording that they're using is very, very clever. Like, quite literally the best value in the industry. Take another look before we sell out. Like, that's pretty crazy. It's kind of promoting scarcity in a really subtle way. Like, take a look before they sell out. I really like that wording. It's really solid scarcity. And then, you know, you're kind of giving social proof yourself by saying that it's quite literally the best value in the industry. Really cool. Now, this was the first example I wanted to give you, and this is probably the best one, just because they're just killing it, in my opinion. Now, let's look at another brand before we look at a dropshipping store that is kind of doing something basic in this regard. Now, this is Morphe, I believe. This is just like a makeup brand. They're huge. They're like in the top 100 Shopify stores. You know, they're not quite up here with, you know, Jeffree Star Cosmetics or ColourPop, but they're still doing quite good. So let me go. So now we're in their info and ads section, and as you can see, they're using hashtags with their name, Morphe Babes. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff. They're really testing a lot of different creatives. As you can see, they're testing so many different creatives that are very similar, and I'm sure, like I said, these are a lot of retargeting audiences. This is so interesting because if you find something that's just working extremely well, let's just say you test 20 different creatives and 2 of them are getting just insane engagement, then guess what? You can start allocating more of your marketing budget, aka Facebook ads budget, into some of those particular ads. It makes so much sense, and it's why people say, you know, numbers, people lie, numbers don't. So let's start looking at the numbers, but in order to look at many different numbers, you're gonna have to have many different creatives. It's not just about the ad sets anymore, and that's one big shift that I see in 2019 that we all have to get adjusted to, because if you're not trying to find the best creative, then your chances of success are a lot less, just due to the fact that now you're really just trying to get lucky with this one video that you test, right? I mean, I'm guilty of this. I usually don't test many creatives. In fact, I don't preach to test many creatives, but that's something that I will start changing going into 2019, because I've personally been seeing the results from actually testing a lot of different things. So that's this one, Morphe. I mean, as you can see, it's a similar situation as Vincero watches. They just have so many creatives that they're testing. Like, it's ridiculous how many ads they're actually running. And you know, it's just really good motivation and inspiration, in my opinion. If you're running some sort of health and beauty store, make sure you come check these guys out. Now, obviously, guys, these are brands. They have a bigger marketing budget than you and I, most likely, and you know, they have a lot of custom content and stuff like that, but you can still apply this stuff to dropshipping. Like, let me show you real quick. Now, here's a dropshipping store. I don't know, I think they might be like private labeling or something, but this is definitely some sort of dropshipping store, and they did something very similar but basic, right? So, like, for example, what they did is they're only testing the first 3 seconds of the video. As you can see, these are not very different. This is targeted at women, and the reason why I know that is 2 reasons. First of all, they're using more emojis here in the headline. That usually gives you more engagement, but these are emojis that I feel like women would resonate with more. And if we go to the very beginning, you'll see that this particular video actually has a girl drinking out of it at the very beginning, and that's the only different thing, I'm pretty sure. Like, this video uses a girl doing it and the other one uses a guy. So let me show you this one real quick. So see, as you can see, this one is basically the same exact thing, but a guy doing it. And this one doesn't have any emojis right here. It's cleaner looking, and and clearly more targeted at men, which is very smart, guys. They're kind of dividing their audience and seeing which one will convert the best. And I'm sure once they get a solid enough sample size, they're probably gonna start leaning more towards one than the other. All right, so that's all the stores that I wanted to show you. But lastly, I want to leave you off with exactly how you can test these things. So as you can see, these stores test a lot of different creatives, but something simple that you could do is just change the first 3 to 7 seconds of your video. And for example, testing 2 different variations of that, right? So 3 seconds in this one, completely different than another one. And then what you could also do is test different thumbnails. A good thumbnail will get you a higher click-through rate, which will get you better engagement, which will tell Facebook that your ad is actually liked by users. So it will push that ad and give you better results. So that's a really easy way to do it. And the way that I personally would do it if I had a low budget is I would use $15, only $15 to test 3 different creatives and just like one ad set, basically at like $5 a day. Or $7.5 a day, leave it on for 2 days and see which creative gets the most engagement. Your targeting doesn't have to be crazy. You could probably do worldwide or tier 1 countries and just target a really broad interest that is related to your product, and then just leave all the other options broad in terms of ages, gender, and then of course platform. I would just do Facebook feed and Instagram feed. And then from those 2 days after that, just look at your data and look at which creative is actually performing the best in terms of engagement, and more often than not, that's the creative that's going to give you the best results possible. So in order to do this, you're going to need to spend an extra $15 to $20 on a product test, but you're going to be a lot more thorough and you're going to get a better idea on how to be more strategic with your Facebook ads, which will probably lead to better results. So make sure you take this advice to heart. This is actually some really valuable stuff. I know that's up to you to interpret, but personally, this is something that I wish I would have known, a year ago. It's something that I've been learning about in the past 3 or 4 months, honestly, and it's really made a significant difference in my ads, especially with my brand. Building a brand, you pick a product and you don't really test many other things, so you're really forced to make this work, right? And the best way to do that is to find the highest converting videos. But guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I really hope that you learned something from this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, join the fam if you haven't already. I know I said that earlier, but man, I'm absolutely obsessed with continuing to grow this channel. The impact that this channel has on people is just amazing. I'm trying to spread the most positive vibes in the game and also the most value. So if you can get behind that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications. Oh, actually, and one last thing, the Inner Circle waitlist is actually finally open. The course itself isn't released yet, but there is a waitlist. Being on the waitlist doesn't obligate you to buy it, but it does guarantee you a spot. So make sure if you're interested in that, you sign up. It's gonna be the link in the description. But that's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Nikes on my feet, keep my cipher complete. Nikes on my feet, keep my cipher complete.